Hi, everyone. Welcome to session 17 of Project Management Professional Training. So let's dive in right away. So this session, we are going to go with communication management. Now, we already have seen a major part of the project management training. We have gone through scope, time, cost. We have gone through a bit of stakeholders. We all have gone through the resource management as well. Now, communication management, it's the most easy, I will say. You can just have a go through or a read on the reference book which you have got by now and go through that. It's very easy to grasp and very easy to get the numbers on the exam. Now these are the topics where you should not be failing a single mark on the exam because they are very easy topics and there is no reason that why you should not be able to get the correct answers on the exam. Okay, this one, the resource management, these are the easy topics. The difficult ones or the confusing ones will be integration management, and then a part of it is the change management, and risk management also will confuse you at times, but communication management is the most easy. Now I have picked up the only the important ones, the key ones which are generally asked in the exams. But to have a good read, I recommend all of you to go through the communication management chapter in any of the PMP hard copy books which you have got by now. Okay, that will take you through the verbal communication, non-verbal communication, the different noises that happens during communications and so on. So communication management, starting with the most important part is that communication is one of the key strength of the project manager. It is the magic sauce with the help of which a project manager is helped to drive a project forward. Okay. Now, in the exam, a question can be asked you that what is the percentage of time in a project a project manager spends on communication? The answer is 90%. 90% of the time during the project life cycle, the project manager will be spending on communication. And you may ask why? Because none of the things the project manager is doing can be done silo from one corner in his table, right? Things like defining the scope, getting the schedule on plate, talking about the different baselines, talking about the risk, the open risk, and the priorities, and the risk mitigation or the response strategies, talking about the quality, talking about the resource hiring and developing them. All that cannot be done by just sitting at one corner. You have to talk with your team, you have to talk with your stakeholders on and off to ensure that these things are on the plate. So let's say that we are talking about a schedule. Can a schedule be drawn by a PM alone? No. The PM has to sit with the entire team to draw the schedule because there are so many components in the schedule. First of all, breaking down the work breakdown structure into activities, and then placing the activities in sequence in a network diagram or in parallel. And then also, yeah, you have to make sure what is the effort which you need for each of the activities, what's the buffer time, floating, critical path. All of this needs the entire team to be with you. So if you want the entire team to be with you, or the key stakeholders to be with you, then you have to be a solid communicator. It can be in the form of emails. It can be in the form of verbal, like in a meeting. It can be a form of anything formal or informal. Okay. But your communication should be transparent and concise and accurate. And you're talking in and out with your internal customers, with your external, people like vendors and the people who are going to give you the supplies. You're also talking with people of your team, the project team. And apart from that, you are constantly in touch with the key stakeholders as well. So this needs a very solid communicator. And when I say a solid communicator, I'm not telling that that person has to be brilliant in English or something. I'm not talking about the vocabulary and all that. What I'm talking is that the person must be crisp and concise and be transparent and honest in all his communications. And at any point of time, all the partner teams, the stakeholders, they should be aligned and they should be in the same page or synced together on what is happening in the project. That is all about communication. Remember, if you're not a good communicator, written or verbal, your chances of being a successful project manager is pretty less. Okay, so this is one skill which you have to work upon. If you have not thought about it, think about it very strongly. How do you would you like to improve your communication skills? Again, I'm not just talking about the vocal one. I'm talking about the written one as well. So both the ways, your communication must be very transparent and solid to ensure that you are in sync with the project key stakeholders and all the people who are actually the stakeholders of the project. Now, when I talk about the communication, we talk about four types of communication. So again, this is from the exam point of view. In the exam, they will ask you these kind of questions. And if you have not gone through the subject, it will be difficult for you to answer. You cannot really make a guesswork here. Because if you go by logic, I will tell you that you're wrong. And I will show you right now where you can go wrong if you're going by logic. But you have to go through this subject extremely easy. One of the kind of the questions which I can think about is drag and drop. So they will give a left hand side with options and the right hand side with some blank spaces with a few words, and you have to drag and drop and match the items. Okay, it's a very easy one if you know the subject. So there are four kinds of communication types. And what are they? They're formal written, formal verbal, informal written, and informal verbal. So we are having two kinds in the formal and we are having two kinds in the informal. Now, formal written means something which is a physical document or maybe electronic copy. It can be a project charter, like an official document kind of stuff, or a contract. So basically, all the documents which are official, signed off by people, those are the documents which we typically call them as formal. So that's where the definition of the formal is. Formal verbal can be any kind of scheduled meetings. Your daily calls, your daily stand up, they all are part of formal because you have pre scheduled them. They are in the calendars of all of your stakeholders, right? Not necessarily that these has to be in person. They can be virtual trainings as well, maybe over Chime, and that's okay. That's all right. So formal verbal is all the pre-scheduled trainings, the pre-scheduled meetings or daily cadence, which can be done either remotely or in person. Now let's come to the informal. Informal written is email, instant messaging, any kind of handwritten notes. These are the informal written. And then the informal verbal is basically unscheduled meetings, ad hoc conversations, casual conversations. Okay, these are all informal verbal. So the higher the stake is, you have to go for the top brackets. Like if the high stake of the project is a project charter, right? You have to get it formally written. Right. And then the second one is a formal verbal because you send out the meeting minutes right after a formal meeting is over. And that's why it's called formal verbal. And then the informal comes in. If you have not got this subject well, it's just very easy. And if you are thinking, okay, in the exam, I will see the question and apply my logic, you will go wrong. And you know where you will go wrong? Informal written. One of the common questions I have seen in the exam is email. Email, they will give you the options to trick you. Like email is formal written. And since most of you are coming from like the companies or from the orgs where email is like treated like a formal thing, right? Like you send the email and probably you archive that mail also because you would like to use that email to show later on that, hey, I have done this. This part was decided and discussed and done, right? But that email which you are doing, that's not a formal written. That is informal written. Okay. So know this stuff. This is one of the tricky questions. And like I said, very easy concept. It's very simple, but you have to go through the subject at least once. Now let's talk about the communication methods, what they are. We have got three methods of communication typically used in an environment of a project, and they are interactive, push, and pull. Now, all of these three will not be used at the same time. Different kinds of the communication will need different kinds of methods of communication, right? So interactive means that one person is talking and one person is responding or reciprocating, acknowledging. Okay, yeah, yes, okay, all right, agree, all that stuff, right? That is two people actually are part of that conversation. At least two. It can be more than that as well. Any kind of conversation happening, a phone call happening, a meeting happening, maybe in person or over Chime or Slack. These are all interactive, where both the people are, I mean, not talking at the same time, of course, but one is talking and one is listening and responding. Now, push is where you are communicating. As the word says, push, it means it's a one-way kind of a communication. It is not a two-way. You have sent out, let's say, the weekly status report of your project, or maybe an email update on something. Okay. This is not interactive. Yeah, maybe somebody has got some question on the report, or somebody has got some question on the email update. They may reach out to you offline, or in a response to your email or unicast to you. That's fine, but these are not two-way kind of communication. These are single one-way, a stream of communication going forward, which is like, this is what I've got and sending this to you. It can be sent to one person or multiple person. It's not a necessary that a one is to one kind of thing is happening. And the last one is pull. Pull is typically you have got, let's say, a big data in front of you, okay, and you want to keep this data in a central location, okay, for everybody to go and download and access that data. You typically use it when, let's say, the data is much larger than your Outlook limit to attach, right? Maybe 100 MB file, and you're putting that maybe on SharePoint or Word Docs or somewhere like that, and you're giving the link to people and they can go there, or a box folder. People are going to that and they're downloading that document, or they're reading it online itself. Okay, so that's called you're pulling, the users will be pulling the information from the central location, specifically the data for a large audience. Like typical to the network, what we have seen, like a network, when we talk about packets, right? We talk about three kinds of communication, right? We talk about unicast, broadcast, and multicast. Okay, so very similar to that. Okay, and you can think of interactive push and pull. Here, if you go by the actual meaning of the word, then also you will be correct, because interactive is exactly what it means here. Push is actually what it means. Think of an email or a status reports, and pull is something which you are accessing from a centralized location. So that's about the communication methods. I'm only taking you through the pointers which are important for the exam, and questions may come up, and they will definitely come up, because PMP has got this very nice thing. They touch base on all the knowledge base areas. They give you chance to score some marks as well. The few of the topics are very simple, let's say resource or communication, and there they give you chance to score some marks. It's not like they're only betting on the tough topics like scope, time, cost, and risk management. That will be insane for all of us, right? So they give you the chance, and these are the questions which will help you not only to fetch the marks, but also to reduce your time and to gain some time to be used on the difficult questions. All right, channels. This is where you will be getting some very simple but nice questions, and I will tell you exactly what kind of questions can come up from channel. So channel is uh, how many, like the channel is the communication distribution way, or how many sets of links you are having in that particular group. Okay, so let's say if I'm having 4 people in the team, then basically how many communication channels I'm having? What are the different ways or different links between these people to communicate? And the formula is n into n minus 1 divided by 2, where the n stands for the number of stakeholders. Okay, now this is also one area where you will be getting at least one question. The question may not be a straight and direct one. I'm going to share with you at least a kind of a question which typically comes in the exam, but this is one question which you can expect, and very easy one. We already have gone through a couple of formula based questions, like the portion in the earned value management, right? We have gone through CPI, SPI, earned value, and the planned value, and all that stuff. Those were pretty simple if you know the concept well. This is also extremely simple if you know the concept. So communication channel is n into n minus 1 divided by 2, where n is the number of the stakeholders. Let's do one question like quickly, and then I will tell you what a typical tricky question can come. So it tells you that for a team of 4, how many communication channels are there? Very simple. 4 is 4 into 4 minus 1 by 2, which is 4 into 3 by 2, that is 12 by 2, that's 6, right? Sometimes PMI will or PMP will trick you that a project or a project manager has got a team of 4 people. How many communication channels are there in the project team? Now remember, they are actually not counting the project manager there. Okay, they are only telling you that project manager has a team of 4. And when you consider the project team channels, it includes the project manager also, right? So it should be 4 plus 1, 5, which you will take, and then you will calculate the communication channel. Again, that means 5 into 5 minus 1 by 2, 5 into 4 by 2, 20 by 2, 10. Okay. Now, a typical question that can come up in the exam, let me just show you and solve that in the notepad for you. Let's say the question says that there was 4 people in a project team. Okay. I will say in the project team and PM. Okay. And now they're telling one person was added to the team. How many? Okay. The question can be what is, sorry for my typo. What is the number of communication channel after the new person is added? This is one question. The other question can be that what is the increase in communication channel after the new person is added? So one is asking, okay, what is the total number after the new person? One is what is the increase? Okay, so let's look at the problem. Let's solve the first part. Okay, then we'll solve the second part. The second part is the part which generally comes in the exam. So be very clear on this concept. So it's telling 4 people in the project team and PM, which equals to actually 5 people, right? PM plus 4. And one person was added to the team, which basically means, let's solve it like this. I will not put it on the top. Probably will take these 2 guys here on the bottom and solve it. And we will just mark it here like question. Okay, so it's easy for you to comprehend. Answer. So 4 people in the team is, this is basically equals to 4 plus 1, that is 5, equals to 5. Okay, and one person was added to the team, which basically 5 plus 1, that equals to 6. Okay, now let's solve the question one by one. First one is that what is the number of communication channel after the new person is added? So new person is added, so basically com channel for 5, right? That is 5 into 5 minus 1 is 4 divided by 2. And that equals to 5 into 4 is 20, 20 by 2 is 10. That's the first answer. The second one is that what is the increase in communication channel after the new person is added? So let's find out com channel for 6. Okay, first of all, for 6. And that is 6 into 6 minus 1. Let's do it here. 6 minus 1 is 5, and that divided by 2. Okay, that is 30 by 2, and that is 15, right? So the question here is that what is the increase? Just look into the keyword here. We have to find out what is the delta here. Increase in the communication channel after the new person is added, which is basically 15 is the new one. The old one was 10 communication. So answer is 5. So second question is only asking for the increase. And the first question was asking about the total communication channel after the new person is added. Okay. So this is the way the question has to be solved here. And PMP, to confuse you, they will give you all the answers. What they will do, they will give you the answer as 10, they will give answer as 15 also, they will give you 5 as well, and they will give you something else as well, some random. Okay, so don't get confused like, okay, I found the answer like 15. This is the correct answer. No, find out what is the question increase. Why I'm sharing this again and again with you is because these are very simple question. It will not be at all a good thing, if you lose marks in these questions. They are very, very simple. Have a good thought process and ensure that you are getting the full marks on this question that will save your time and also grab you marks for the exam. Okay, there should not be any way that you are going to lose marks for the simple questions, because there will be a lot of moderate to difficult and very difficult questions. The chances are very high that you will not be able to score much on the very difficult or complex questions because you need a lot of time, and time is not much in the exam. But at least the simple ones should be all cracked down, the low hanging fruits, and then you go for the moderate and then for the difficult. Okay, with that, we came to the end of the communication. And like I said, it's a very simple topic. Have a go through it, have a read on that chapter. It will talk about the different things which I have not discussed here. I've only shared the things which there is a chance of coming in the exam, and it will definitely come in the exam because PMP never stops to touch base on any of the topics. So wrap up, 90% of the time in the project is spent on communication by the PM. That's a hell lot of time, right? Remember that in a percentage. Interactive, push and pull are the three communication methods. Email is an informal written communication type. Always remember this. Email is not a formal written. You may you may have thought about it like that for quite some time. It is all right. You have thought about it, but for the classic PMP approach, always know that email is an informal written. This is where people go wrong. They kind of commit a silly mistake and they lose marks on an easy question. And finally, the communication channel, which is equals to n into n minus 1 by 2, where n equals to the number of stakeholders. Okay, with that, we came to the end of the session. I hope you liked it. I wish you all a great day and a great time. Thank you for watching.